Apple just announced iOS 26, which is said to be their biggest visual glow up in years. And while a lot of it looks stunning, some parts are just plain broken. And one feature in particular is honestly kinda hideous. I'll be going over what I find to be the good, the bad, and the ugly. As always, stick around to the end to catch the bloopers. Let's start with what Apple absolutely nailed. The transparent elements across the UI, gorgeous. Menus and buttons feel like floating glass, and seeing all your content glide underneath adds so much depth. And Apple went a step further. Images actually refract under these elements like real glass. The best example of this is when you unlock your phone. If you do it slowly, you can see the colors along the edge, and the image underneath refracting when it reaches the edge of the quote-unquote glass. It's a small detail, but it adds this extra sense of realism. It honestly feels like magic when you see it for the first time. The rounded corners of the OS now match the iPhone's hardware more than ever. It just feels cohesive. I do wish we had more control though. Imagine a slider that allows you to change the app icons from squares to full-blown circles, kind of like what we see in Android. One of the more subtle but really cool touches is the shimmering light effect on UI elements when you move your phone around. You'll catch it on app icons as well as the time on the lock screen. It's honestly super slick. And speaking of the lock screen, the new spatial scene feature for photos, shockingly good. When there's a clear subject and background, the separation is almost flawless. It adds this sense of depth that makes your wallpaper feel alive. And when you pair this with the new ability to stretch the lock screen clock down, you can create a really clean final result if you set it up right. Now, either you love or hate this feature I'm about to mention. Personally, I love to see the addition of backgrounds in messages. For me, any way to further customize your experience in an OS is a win. Yeah, you could say this is just a WhatsApp ripoff, but I welcome this feature into the native Messages app with open arms. The dynamic backgrounds are a bit buggy at the moment, but I'm sure this will be worked out in future builds. The new auto mix feature in Apple Music is surprisingly good. I'm actually a DJ myself, so whenever I hear these auto mix features like what Spotify does as well, I'm always left cringing and just keep it off because it always ends up just being a poorly done crossfade and it just sounds terrible. Where this new feature actually impresses me is that it alters the BPM and accurately beat matches, resulting in a smooth transition. Now, it's not perfect. In my testing, sometimes it sounded a little off, but 90% of the time, it actually really impressed me. The cover art fading to the next track is also a really nice touch. But I'll still be sticking with Spotify until Apple can implement an algorithm that actually makes personalized recommendations that make sense. Apple Music is so close to being my main music streaming app, but nothing compares to Spotify's algorithm, and that's just a fact. The update to the camera app I actually like more than I thought I would. Aside from the liquid glass elements, the functionality has actually improved. The new settings menu is larger and easier to access things like exposure, and the format window up top is so much better, showing all of the different format options at once and making them easier to select. I feel like these changes could lead to people that end up just being casual users of the camera app wanting to dial their settings in a little bit more. Now, not everything's polished just yet. First off, yes, it's a developer beta, so obviously it's going to be choppy and buggy in its current build, so I won't dwell on that too much. Now, there is one UI change I hope Apple rethinks. In Messages, the contact's name sits in its own little bubble under the profile picture, and it just looks off. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just me that feels this way, but it seems to break the visual flow, and honestly, it just kind of feels un-Apple, if that makes sense. I think they could get away with it being just the contact image on its own, and that would be sufficient. I don't know how else they could do this, but let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions or if I'm just being too nitpicky. The cool lock screen spatial scene effect I mentioned earlier, it kinda has a mind of its own. After setting it up, it sometimes just stops working. I've had to go back into the customization menu multiple times just to reactivate it. I'm sure this will be patched again in future builds, but it's worth noting. My 15 Pro Max has been getting extremely hot with normal light use. So when I pair that with charging in a warm vehicle like my work truck, it almost gets too hot to even hold. I think this may have to do with the animation overhaul and potentially the fact that I do have a 15 Pro Max with the older chipset, but Apple's definitely going to have to get this sorted out so that people can run iOS 26 on their older iPhone models. I have always had exceptional battery on my 15 Pro Max, but this has probably been because I've always used fully built out versions of iOS. The current developer beta is absolutely chewing through my battery, so I'm hoping they can deliver all the fancy new aesthetics and animations without sacrificing battery life. Only time will tell. Now, before I get into the ugly parts of iOS 26, I've got a quick but super important heads up. You know how iOS is getting all these new visual tweaks and animations? Those are all very exciting additions, but when it comes to your privacy, nothing has changed. Apps and websites are still tracking your behavior across the internet, buying and selling your personal data without you even knowing, which then leads to all those unwanted spam calls and endless emails. That's where today's sponsor, Incogni, comes in. It automatically contacts hundreds of data brokers to get your personal information completely scrubbed from the web, and it actually works. I've been testing it myself, and within weeks, I got real confirmation emails that my data was being deleted from places I didn't even know had it. The best part? You don't have to do anything beyond signing up. Incogni handles the legal requests, the follow-ups, the whole thing. So if you're serious about cleaning up your digital footprint, head over to incogni.com/Nicknology or use my code Nicknology to get 60% off their annual plan. All right, now let's talk about what I find to be the ugliest design changes in iOS 26. The new glass-styled lock screen clock. I hate to say it, but it's barely legible in most scenarios. It fades into certain wallpapers and doesn't have enough contrast. And high levels of contrast is always something I strive for when I'm setting up a lock screen. Even when you change the color of the glass, it still looks a bit off. I usually like to go with a black clock, but when you make the glass black, it removes the liquid glass effect entirely. I really don't love the new sliders. I don't see why they had to go from a circle to an oval and also them looking much longer. I feel like they could have kept the same dimensions, but just added some kind of 3D glassy effect to them, or even a new animation to make it feel fresh. Let's talk about this new all clear mode for the app icons. I don't know whose idea this was, but it looks even worse than the tinting effect in iOS 18. I can maybe see this looking good with certain wallpapers, but why would you ever want your app icons to be barely legible? I'll definitely just be sticking to my go-to large dark mode icons without the labels. Still definitely looks the cleanest in my opinion. Like I mentioned before, since this is the developer beta, it is extremely buggy and choppy. It's almost unusable at certain times in its current state. But what do you expect from the very first usable build? I'm sure the Apple developers are working around the clock, so we gotta cut them a little bit of slack here. I'm hoping it's just because it's so early and we don't see any instability in the final build in September. But knowing Apple, they'll iron out 99% of the kinks before their updated hardware launch in the fall. So that's iOS 26 so far. Part gorgeous, part buggy, and part atrocious. I'll be diving into iPadOS 26 and macOS Tahoe next. So make sure you hit that sub button if you want a full breakdown across Apple's ecosystem. Also, if you're running the iOS 26 beta, let me know your good, bad, and ugly in the comments below. I'm curious to see what stood out most to you. Until next time, this has been Nicknology, signing off. And when you pair this with the new ability to stretch the lock screen, locks clean? Okay, we got it. Ooh. The cool lock screen spatial scene effect I mentioned. So when I pair that with charge, let's talk about what I find to be the ugliest design changes into iOS. All right, now let's talk about what I think. We got it. All right, we got it.